This week in All About Android, Google wants to give devs more money to make apps for all the screens. Plus, Unity is bringing Chrome OS development. Samsung's got a take on Wear OS, and why are we seeing ads on Google TV? I've also got the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in hand. All this is coming up and more up next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Sennheiser. Why settle for anything less than great sound? Come hear the difference with Sennheiser. Right now, for my first 100 listeners who go to Sennheiser.com/podcast and use promo code ANDROID, you'll receive 15% off the Momentum True Wireless 2 earbuds or any of their amazing headphones.
Hello and welcome to All About Android. This is episode number 531, recorded live on June 29th, 2021. We are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I am Florence Ion.
And I'm Ron Richards, and we are down a team member. Jason's out this week, but Flo and I are ready to steer this ship, the good ship All About Android, in what is looking to be like a weird news week. Not much going on in the Android world, but some interesting things that I think that we'll be able to talk about, Flo. And it's been a while since you and I have just done the two of us show, right? So
yes, so this will be good. I have to say, I was on Twitter last night and I randomly stumbled. Apparently, by the way, did you know MWC is happening in Barcelona? Which
yes,
we are going to talk about.
Found out last week and then forgot about.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about it too until I saw a tweet last night that was like a live or whatever, a recorded video from the show floor. It's this empty, desolate conference center with the outlines for where the different booths were supposed to go and where companies were supposed to place their booths. And I'm honestly surprised. I'm surprised. I really am.
I'm not surprised. I guess it's a mix. Like, part of me is not surprised because that sort of event and that massive thing, I think that you might see more attendance from attendees who want to get as we're returning to normal and doing all stuff like that. But I also don't know what the world is like in Europe and what state they're in and whether how normal they are or whatnot. But I get the sense from a corporate standpoint, companies don't want to take the risk by attending big events like that just yet. So if the companies aren't there or if it's all virtual, whatever, then it makes sense that it would be empty halls. So,
yeah. And my understanding is that there's a lot of financial, a lot of financial inspiration for why it's still happening, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's still weird. It's still weird.
It's weird.
All this.
It is weird. But we're here for the weird. We like the All About Android weird stuff that happens.
We are.
And listen, before we get into news, you can help us out. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or whatever, where you listen to the podcast, leave a review, leave a rating. Help spread the word. Tell your friend about the show. That's always the best way to help spread the word of mouth. And we thank everybody in the All About Android community for doing it. That said, we actually have a lot in news. So why don't we just go right into news?
I've been told the better my teas, the more Ron gives me money.
It's true. Burke is on a pay-to-play performance program with me all around the teases. So,
oh my goodness, they figured out how to monetize Burke just like Pokemon Go. Wow, good for you, Burke. Hey, speaking of money, today's top story is surprise, surprise, all about money. Money makes people talk. And it makes developers deliver on the things. And that's what Google is hoping will incentivize its developers to make apps that support more form factors. So Google is launching the Play Media Experience program. Now, it comes with a proposition to developers. Support more Android form factors, and Google will take less of the cut from the bottom line. This includes everything from video, audio, and books. So Google's proposing if you make an app that works on smartphones, tablets, Android TV, Google Cast, Android Auto, and Wear OS, to name a few of the many platforms that Google runs, Google will give you 15%, or excuse me, will only take 15% instead of the usual 30% cut. So quite an incentive there. Now, of course, this does follow in a trend that other app stores practice. Apple takes 30% of the cut famously. That's like a really big discussion right now in some circles. And I think I recently read that Amazon takes, I think they take 30 or 25% or something like that. Regardless,
I think it's less than Apple and Google, but it's still a cut. So
exactly. That's what I remember like reading when I was skimming the Google results about it. But anyway, I'm curious, Ron, you kind of come from this world and understand it a little better than I do. Do you think that this is like a real incentive that's going to make developers say, change directions, guys. Here's what we're going to do instead?
I don't know. Well, I don't know, because I think that yes and no. It depends on the developer. It depends on the size of the development company. It depends on the app. Depends on the application. If they're encouraging people to make apps that work both on smartphones and tablets and Android TV and Chromecast and Android Auto and Wear OS, not every app is designed for all those instances.
Exactly.
I do think, going from, cutting their cut in half, basically from 30 to 15% is significant. And if the app is making enough money, that could be real money. But what I think is more interesting in that is that I feel like this is laying the groundwork for whatever Google is up to in regards to form factors. Because if you remember at Google I/O, there was a lot of sessions. In fact, friend of the show, Liam, was I saw him tweeting about a session, things like that, about designing for big screens and things like that. After seeing that in I/O and seeing this, my kind of sixth sense is going off here and wondering, what is Google up to that they're encouraging apps to work across all these different form factors? Is there some sort of big play beyond the smartphone that they're prepping to do, in 6 months to a year or whenever it might be? Now I could just be, kind of conspiracy theorizing here, but why incentivize people financially to ensure that they're making an app that works on Android TV? Right. Unless you're doing something to promote that ecosystem across all these different ways of, and, after seeing, we're going to talk in a little bit about Wear OS after, it seems like this is moving pieces on the table in order before they make a move. Am I crazy, or what do you think?
No, I think you're absolutely spot on. You just reminded me of entertainment space, which I've been reporting about, but there's a lot of stuff going on in my brain. And entertainment space, the whole point of that is to showcase apps and content, right? Showcase apps and content that's offered through the Google Play ecosystem, because it is its own little like thing. I just wonder by the way, we didn't see Fuchsia in there. I just want to say we saw Google Cast. We did not see Fuchsia.
Well, I think Fuchsia is a little, it's not consumer facing yet. I mean, and also, come on.
I know.
But
I just wanted to rumor monger a little bit, because whatever. Jason's not here, so nobody's regulating me. Actually, you're regulating me, so I should stop.
The best I can. I think you're beyond regulation, but I don't know. I just think it could be curious in terms of why else would they use money to get developers to ensure development beyond the phone, right? So we'll see. But when you're talking about those different form factors and different kind of things like this ties right into our next story, which is Google's got to make some money if they're losing money from their cut with developers. So they turn to Google TV and ads, which is really kind of pissed off a lot of people. So the latest update to Google TV introduced full screen ads that play with audio that you cannot go away from. And it is not making people happy. And it's such a bummer, because Google TV got this launch, and the Google TV with Chromecast, the new dongle, came off with the interface is great. Everybody was talking about how affordable it is, how great it is. And now we get hit with this thing that they're forcing ads upon us. And so, of course, the immediate reaction is fire and brimstone. But I do want to play, not devil's advocate, but I do want to do like a reality check here. these aren't ads. It's not like you're using Google TV, then all of a sudden you're getting hit with an ad like you would in front of a YouTube video about some random advertiser. They're actually contextual trailers for apps within the Google TV system. So like I saw an example on one side. I think it was the folks at 9 to 5 Google took a video where it was Discovery Plus, that streaming service. It was a trailer for their app, trying to get you to subscribe to their service, showing you Giada and all that, and all the other chefs and things like that. This made me think of Netflix's in-app video autoplay that happens, which drives me bananas. When you're scrolling through Netflix on Google TV, all of a sudden the movie starts playing behind the UI, or the trailer starts playing and you can't turn it off, and it's like really frustrating. The difference here though is that in this Google TV implementation, this ad or this trailer goes full screen and you can't go away until it's over. Which is frustrating. So and it's with audio. So it's tough. I get what they're doing.
What is
right? Right? I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to make deals with streaming services that want to get noticed and drive, subscribers and installs on their platform, but at what cost? Have you seen one of these?
Now I'm going to have to see an ad for Cruella every time. And by the way, I don't sub to Disney Plus. So now I'm going to have to see ads for all these things I don't sub to. And I'm just imagining it on like the big screen TV and what that would be like. And I hope it's not a situation where the volume is different.
Right. That's you hope and pray that there's some sort of volume leveling that's going on or something like that. But
what if I'm doing Saturday morning cartoons and I'm trying not to wake anybody up? How do you do that quietly?
Right. Well, you lower your volume. I mean,
welcome, friends. It tastes like bacon. I love cooking with y'all. So
see, the audio is there.
You know what? I think that was a really perfect way to illustrate what that might be like in real life. So thank you, Burke.
Very intrusive. Very intrusive. But so I don't know. Does this make Google TV a deal breaker?
Well, no. I mean, I'm stuck in the ecosystem. Every TV in this household has one plugged in. So it's the platform, and I guess I'm just going to do what it's going to make me do. I do wonder if they're going to enable it for both, because they have like a simple mode and then they have the recommendations mode. And the simple mode is supposed to be just apps and one carousel that tells you about upcoming, movies, TV shows, whatever. So I don't know. I hope there will be some settings so I can adjust how it plays.
Well, yeah, I mean, opting out of ads isn't always in Google's best interest. It is important to note that this also rolled out not only to Google TV users, but to Android TV users, including NVIDIA Shield TV owners. So this isn't just on a Google device. This is at the OS level, the Android TV, Google TV operating system level. So even NVIDIA Shield folks are getting hit with this. So curious decision, Google. Sure.
We'll see if I get hit with any after the show today when I go catch up on Below Deck. Right.
By the way, I was doing a podcast last night and somebody talked about that, and I've never heard of that show until yesterday.
It's a Bravo Universe thing,
Right. No, I'm not
Bravo's
surprised that it's you in the reality TV. So I'm not surprised about that. But I at least at some point, I guess it just shows the world of content that we live in now and how much content there is out there that a show can go on. How many years has that show been on?
Ron, you're not missing anything, by the way.
Oh, I know I'm not missing anything. But I do find it fascinating that apparently the show's been on for like 10 years. And the fact that I've never heard of it, I don't think it's a question of quality or not. It's just that there's so much content that stuff that you previously would have seen something for. But I don't have cable. I'm a cord cutter. I don't watch Bravo. I don't watch reality TV. I don't listen to crap. I don't, all this sort of stuff. So it just never got into my world, which I find fascinating. So
yeah,
and slightly judging Flo for watching it.
You know what? You and I have a Venn diagram where we meet on our interests. And truthfully, I don't know anything about Bachelor Nation. That's a whole reality TV stream on its own. There's all little pockets of things. Some people are Survivor people. I'm not a Survivor person. So yeah. Speaking of surviving, let's talk about what is going to happen to make Chromebooks turn into gaming machines, ? Yeah, so Unity is a household name when it comes to game development circles, which is why it's actually pretty good news that developers will be able to add Chrome OS functionality to Android games that they develop in the suite. So Google's teamed up with Unity to integrate this Chrome OS ability into the Android developer environment. Developers will be able to better optimize games for the Chromebook, including the different ways that you would use Windows on the Chromebook. And I'm talking about the Windows. So multi-window features, freeform windows, full screen mode, and split screen. Those are all environments that you will be able to play around with in Unity. Developers will also have support for x86-64 devices. And, it's good news all around. It's kind of more of a bigger story in development circles because there's nothing consumer facing to really bring to the fold right now. But at the very least, that might mean some really good news for the way Android apps play on Chromebooks, because right now, if you try to use them on some Chromebooks, it's a really fragmented experience, and it's kind of a bummer because I would like to make use of those big screens with a controller, but I can't. Ron, these sort of Unity announcements, they've been made before. I mean, I remember the Google Daydream booth next to the Unity booth at GDC, right? So these announcements are always made. Do you think that this is good news for Chrome at least?
I don't think how it can't be. In fact, it was a couple of weeks ago on the show where we're talking about development on Chromebooks and ways to enable it and to make a Chromebook and actually a core developer machine. And the combination of when I think Chromebook, I don't think gaming, right? And so this going back
Stadia,
to your Venn
Ron.
Stadia, yeah, true. But going back to your Venn diagram there, Flo, like the Venn diagram of getting developers thinking about Chromebooks and, Chrome OS as a platform to develop games on and if Unity is the way to make that happen, I don't think that can hurt at all. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. If you can imagine how long will it take? Will it be a year before we're looking at gamer Chromebooks? Right?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a really good point because we have all those new chips. I've been kind of covering laptops a little more in recent months, and I am getting to know all the new Intel and AMD chips. And, that stuff is interchangeable with Chrome OS now. So imagine that kind of power with Chrome OS, which I guess would make Stadia more of a thing. And, I tried to use the controller with the last Chromebook that I just reviewed for Gizmodo, the Acer Chromebook Spin 713. It has all the innards to be able to do the things that I want to do, but I don't have like Bluetooth controller support where I need it. And I think that in that retrospect, Unity will really help there because it's just a push button deployment.
Yeah.
As far as I understand it.
I've learned not to believe when it's just a couple of lines of code and it's just a push button, but I do know that is what Unity is built on, and that is what they are created for. And so it's able to take a game and be able to port it to other platforms easily without having to do native development, which could be awesome. So yeah, exactly. It unites. So there it is. So we'll talk about uniting. As you mentioned earlier in the show, Mobile World Congress has been going on. And so it is at that event, we talked about it last week, that Samsung kind of unveiled, they had an event and we're excited. We were curious what it was going to be. We know that back at Google I/O, Google and Samsung announced that they're teaming up to create a new smartwatch platform. And it was at Mobile World Congress was where Samsung decided to preview it and show everyone what it's going to look like. It's called the One UI Watch, which is just so consumer facing. That's great.
When you install a watch,
One UI Watch. It's decidedly the Samsung version of Wear OS. With a veritable quote unquote Galaxy Watch experience. It's most likely going to function as like a layer on top of the Wear OS platform, similar to the way that One UI is on the Samsung smartphones, which isn't a surprise. It makes perfect sense. And then Samsung also teased the automation app installation and an improved watch face design tool, which is pretty cool.
Sorry, that was supposed to say automatic app installation.
Automatic app installation. Yes, I'm not wearing any pants. The watches settings layout also mirrors the one on your phone, so there's consistency there in the experience. The actions you perform on the phone will automatically apply to the watch OS, like if you block a number or tweak a specific setting. So you get that consistency and connection between the phone and the watch all on the same platform. Now, if you're looking for a watch solution, this might sound great, but there's a catch. There's always a catch. You'll need a Samsung phone for some of these features, which, that's going to come with it. I mean, hell, Google does that with their Pixel stuff. Like, you want this feature, you got to have a Pixel. And so I'm not surprised to hear that. So for me, I think the summary of this event was I was trolling all the news feeds for the latest news to prepare for the show, and I didn't even notice this.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't even hear anybody talk about it. Or
until
anything.
10 minutes before the show, I was like, oh, that's right. I have to thank the Discord chat.
Yes. Thank you to the loyal Club TWiT members in the Discord chat who reminded us that this event happened, and we scrambled to put it in. But Flo, you're on the wearables beat here at All About Android. Your Miss Watch. Is this the bright new future for Wear OS, or is this a dud?
Yeah. It is, because you know what? If Samsung is going to keep using its hardware, like, that's the stuff I love. And I've been kind of, just to tease something I'm working on, I've been looking at some third-party Android-based operating systems that do not have Google Play services installed on them. And the hardware for these things is really nice, and I love the hardware experience. It's like so great. But the software, because it doesn't have that Google integration, it just immediately makes it like that much harder for me to enjoy and to really like get into it and want to natively turn to it to use it. And I kind of have that issue with the Galaxy Active that I own now. I have the first gen. I still love it, even though I cracked it, unfortunately. Happened during Mercury retrograde. So I think this will be really good. I think this will be good because this means I get to pick the hardware that I really want. Because my biggest complaint about Wear OS, Watch OS, guys, I don't even know what it's called anymore. My biggest complaint about it is that the hardware that Google was offering me from Fossil and all those brands, it wasn't cutting it. And that Qualcomm chip wasn't cutting it. So
you think that the advancements are worth the caveats?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because all I really want, what I want to watch for, if you want it for fitness tracking, you're going to be covered no matter what. So.
Right. All right. Well, I'm still not on board, but I don't wear a watch, so I don't care.
Yeah. I'm not wearing it right now because guess what? Nobody worked out today. I just been working. There's no point.
But it is funny. I'm not in the Samsung ecosystem, and I'm not dying for a wearable, but I see where this corporate synergy partnership can pay off for both sides. If they can build a good base to finally get Wear OS on and to build a customer base who is connected to Samsung and wants Samsung, then you can grow from there, and it can spread out and hopefully, I mean, because the name of the game here is how to beat Apple, right? I mean, that's all Samsung wants to do. That's all Google wants to do. So might as well, you keep your friends, your enemies close, your friends closer, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or one of those phrases.
Right.
So yeah. So we will see what comes of this, but I think it's more telling the fact that it didn't even pop up in my feed, or like no one was talking about it. I think that's fascinating.
Well, it's because MWC is already like, no, it's not on anybody's radar because it usually happens in February. We're still dealing with the pandemic. We're still not quite there yet. And they made kind of an announcement of the announcement. So my understanding is all of this is going to come, like, we will see this all unearthed when they do the next Galaxy Fold event, which I think is like sometime this summer. Right. So
stay tuned.
# wait and see.
There it is. All right. So let's take a break and thank our sponsor for this episode. And I'm so excited because this episode of All About Android is brought to you by Sennheiser. And listen, when it comes to earbuds, for me, it's all about sound quality. We've been talking about earbuds on the show a lot the past couple of weeks. Earbuds are important. And if you want the best sound quality, that's why you've got to check out Sennheiser. They make the best earbuds money can buy. For the past 75 years, while other companies focused on phones or tablets, Sennheiser has put sound first. And their new Momentum True Wireless 2s deliver the best listening experience and have been finely crafted for even the most discerning listener. With their free smart control app, you can adjust the sound to your personal preference with the built-in equalizer. You can switch off your surroundings and dive into that impactful song or important episode with their new active noise cancellation feature. Up to 28 hours of battery life. These earbuds can last you all day and then some. And you can feel the quality of Sennheiser's earbuds the second you put them on. They've got over-ear headphones and soundbars for all of your audio needs. It's no wonder CNET called the Momentum True Wireless 2's clearly superior sound quality to the AirPods Pro and the earbuds to get if you value sound quality over everything else. And listen, we talked, like I said, we've been talking on the show about earbuds, about the importance of good sound quality. I'm going to tell you a little story when it comes to sound quality. When I was a teenager and I was really getting into music, one year for Christmas, my dad got me a professional level set of headphones. And guess what? They were Sennheisers. They're the nice big cans, studio quality Sennheiser headphones. I still have them. They're still fantastic. Sennheiser is awesome. I've followed the brand ever since then. I've been a loyal customer of them. All of their headphones and all of their audio equipment are just top notch. And you know, when you see that little S logo, that means that not only is it built with such great quality, but it sounds amazing. And that doesn't stop here at these earbuds. These earbuds are really, really, really something. And I encourage you to check them out. They look beautiful and they sound even better. So why settle for anything else than great sound? Come hear the difference in Sennheiser. Right now, for the first 100 listeners who go to Sennheiser.com/podcast and use promo code Android, you'll receive 15% off the Momentum True Wireless 2 earbuds or any of their amazing headphones. That's 15% off when you go to Sennheiser.com/podcast and use the promo code Android. And thanks, Sennheiser, for being awesome, having great design, and sounding amazing. You're the best. We appreciate you. Thanks, Sennheiser. Cool. So with that, let's dive right into hardware. All right, so I'm very excited because Flo has got hardware for us this week. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a little bit of a hands-on moment with Flo as she takes a look at the OnePlus Nord N200, which I've been very curious about the OnePlus Nords, and I'm really curious to hear what Flo thinks of it. And I don't know, I'm just excited, Flo. I mean, you've had the phone. Are you excited to talk about it?
I am so excited to talk about it that I switched cameras to make this happen. Now, My setup may not be as fancy as Jason Howell's, but you know what? I think this will do for now. I have here the OnePlus N200 5G. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Is that how you have to say it?
So a couple of reviews have been rolling out right now. Android Police published their review today. Let's go through some of the specs. I haven't actually had time to use this or do anything with it. I literally just set it up today, but I want to show it off to you and just show you this really pretty back that unfortunately immediately picks up the fingerprints. All right. So the specs inside of this is a Snapdragon 480 5G on the inside with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. There's a 5.49 inch display that you're looking at with a 1080, that was a typo on my end, 6.49 inch display that you're looking at, 1080 by 2400 LCD, a 90 hertz refresh rate, which is pretty awesome when you hear how much this thing costs. On the back, we have 3 lenses, a 13 megapixel primary camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor with monochrome abilities. There's also a 16 megapixel camera on the front there. And this is running Android 11, or as it's known from OnePlus, Oxygen OS 11. It's going to cost you $240, which is pretty good. Now I've already been, I'm going to put this here as kind of a beauty shot. All right. While I just, try to, you know what, phone? We should have done a dress rehearsal. Yes, we should have done a dress rehearsal. Turn down.
Let's take note that episode 531 was the moment that Flo lost it and started talking as the hardware.
That is absolutely true.
Yes.
Okay, so scanning a couple reviews that have come out, there's a lot of positives that are going for it. I turned the brightness down a little bit, by the way, so you can maybe see the interface, but it's not working. Okay.
It's not too bad.
Whoa.
And then for our audio listeners, Flo just threw the phone onto the table. So
I did not throw the phone.
Did it reboot when you dropped it?
No.
Oh. I see. It's the reflection of the light. Anyway, so tell us about this phone, Flo. It's got
all
a
right,
little,
guys.
It's got a little notch camera in there in the front.
Yeah, listen, It's got a little notch camera right here, and you could see a little pinhole camera. Got a lot of positives going for it. As I was saying, one of the few phones with 90 hertz display at a really great price. It's an affordable way to get 5G in just like a really premium looking package. I mean, I can't explain how good this looks in person. And one of the things that gets me excited about OnePlus devices is just how they look. They just look really freaking nice. And, it's the kind of nice, though, that you don't want to put a case on, but you're going to want to because look at all them fingerprints. Oxygen OS is pretty good clone of Android. It's likely going to get better with Oppo behind it now, that Oppo's officially joined forces with OnePlus. But some of the downsides is you're missing out on the premium features that you'd get with a OnePlus flagship, so no dash charging. Also, T-Mobile is the only carrier supporting the 5G abilities on this phone, so you're out of luck if you're on AT&T or Verizon. And mind the processor. You will get, it's a mid-range,
right?
Price.
But this is an affordable phone, right? I mean, like the idea of this is it's meant to be a mid-range phone. So with that, you get mid-range specs.
And I mean, look, can run Pokemon Go. That's all you really need to know. So you can just sit here and wait for it to load if you'd like. And,
Do you hear that, Victor? Pokemon Go.
There it is.
I can't believe Victor and I haven't synced up on Pokemon Go, by the way, because Victor, I'm playing again. You know what? Having a child, it's a really good thing to play when you have to walk a baby around all the time.
So, Flo, what does the phone feel? How does it feel in your hand?
I will say that for as premium as the outside feels, it's a little hollowy. Like you can tell, it's a chunky guy. Like
it doesn't have that heft that you want from a real solid phone.
It's not svelte. When you like pick something up that's supposed to be for like style and it feels, like the difference between a $30 jacket and a $300 jacket. Right.
Okay.
The $30 jacket feels kind of thin when you put it on and, it's a little flimsy, whereas the $300 one has all the layers that you need to like get actual warmth out of it. Right. But it's really nice hardware. I'm sure Jason will have a full review of this. And if not, I'll be shooting some photos so I can come show you what it looks like. We can do a little quick update maybe.
Cool. Well, that's a great little kind of out of the box glimpse, little hands-on moment with the OnePlus Nord N200. I don't know. How much does it even cost? $240. That's actually not bad. Given that it's got a little lesser of a processor in there and the kind of mid-range specs for less than $250, you can't really beat that. I think that's pretty cool. So
no, think about what else you would get for like $250.
Well, I mean,
right?
I mean, I don't know what that meant, but if you,
I know, I just made a face for the audio listeners.
As somebody who just spent $350 on a Pixel 4a, if you're
right.
watching your dollars, and if I only had $250 to spend, I might give that a try. So
yeah,
pretty cool. All right. Well, moving on. I know tablets are often a malign topic around these parts. We've wished there were more tablets, and a lot of you have written in saying that you enjoy your tablets and wish there was more to choose from. And we're kind of in a period of stagnancy with tablets. There's pretty much it's either Amazon Fire tablets or Samsung tabs, and there's not a lot of interesting stuff coming out in market. Well, luckily Lenovo is here to hopefully change that. Lenovo announced the new Yoga Tab 13, which you can pick up for $679. And this is actually the global version of the Yoga Pad Pro that was released in China earlier this year. And what's interesting about this tablet is the tablet also can work as a functional tablet or as an external display for a laptop or a Nintendo Switch or other devices out there via a micro HDMI port. And then with this specific tablet, it's got an attached stainless steel kickstand that can actually rotate 180 degrees from the back of the device. So not only could you stand it up on a desk, but you could also hang it on the wall if you wanted to. If you wanted to mount this and have a very slim external monitor for whatever application you might be using, which is pretty neat. And this was just one of the many tablets that was announced by Lenovo. They also announced a smaller Yoga Tab 11, a Tab P11 Plus with a 2000 by 1200 display, and a little cheaper model, the Tab M7 and Tab M8. But note the Tab M8 won't be available in the US, so there you go. But going back to the Tab 13, it's going to work with Lenovo's Precision Pen 2. So if you're an artist, you want to draw, you like writing with pens or that sort of thing, they have the Lenovo Precision Pen 2. It's also got an 8 megapixel front-facing camera for smarter logins, as well as with background noise reduction for video calls. And Lenovo actually says you'll get up to 12 hours of battery life, and that the 1080p screen can reach 400 nits of brightness. So Lenovo is really going pretty hard on this $680 13-inch tablet as like the top of the line kind of primo tablet. Flo, what do you think? Is this worth the money? Is it worth the $679 for a 13-inch tablet, which seems huge, although compared to the iPad Pro, not that big, but can also function as an external monitor?
Yeah, bro. I want this.
You want it?
Yeah, think about it. Listen, Lenovo already does. We're asking ourselves who's still making Android tablets. Well, Lenovo's making them, and in this case, they got a lot of hype over the first leak that came out of the overseas variant of the tablet with the HDMI port. And I'm feeling just as excited about it because I like the idea of this added utility. An external monitor I can use with a Nintendo Switch. Granted, it is micro HDMI, so it'll come with whatever issues that has, but just the idea. And also Lenovo is one of the first manufacturers that's going to push that Google Entertainment Space that they announced. And so it's a great way to get this like family utility tablet that's affordable I don't know. I want to get my hands on it and really see if it's as exciting as my brain is making it out to be.
It seems pretty cool. I mean, $679 isn't cheap by any degree. I mean, like the last tablet I bought, that Asus was about $300 or so, and that stung. But you do, I mean, it is big and you get a lot for it, and it's got a nice long lasting battery life, and that external monitor function allows you to have more application than just what you do with the tablet, which is pretty cool, I think. So
is this Lenovo's first tablet?
No. Lenovo's been doing tablets for a while. Yeah.
It's worth noting, by the way, the M8 that they announced, it's not getting updated here. It's the one that I brought on the show like last year. I still have it upstairs, and God, it's really slow.
Yeah. Well, the M8 has always been the affordable one, right? Like that's
those are like the Walmart equivalent tablets. So
well, hey, it's no.
Correct. It is no. No.
Yeah, let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
All right, on to our next little news bit, which in my notes I started out with, yo dog, it's MTV nostalgia time, and I'm using this outdated meme to tell you that Xiaomi is putting a camera inside of a camera inside of a camera. That's right. Xiaomi's working on a phone with a 200 megapixel camera, plus brand new silicone on the inside, just upgraded all across the line. But the thing that's really got our eyes is that 200 megapixel camera. That's a really incredible number when you think about it. Now, apparently this new phone will also have a couple other really nice things about it. Dual curved screen, a punch hole cut out, kind of like the one I just showed you on the OnePlus Nord. But the real headline here is that Xiaomi is known for its wild and crazy specs, and this is no different. 200 megapixel camera. It's very much bleeding edge, but Xiaomi is the one that can get away with it. This leak comes by way of Weibo, where a lot of tech leaks have been coming through recently, so it's safe to say there's a 200 megapixel camera coming out, and we're not going to see it at all in the US.
No, but we have been saying for a while now, with the demise of LG, Xiaomi is taking they're taking the mantle of the wacky and crazy R&D Android electronics developer, and they're seeing what they can do with the technology, what they can cram in there. And 200 megapixel, I never thought I'd live to see the day. So
we really should do a OEM pageant, which just sounds so. Love OEM pageant. Wow, great SEO. But
I like the idea of it.
We should do a pageant where we give each one of the brands their own, queen of or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Miss. That's right.
Well, so here's my question though, and Flo, you know more about phone cameras than I do and stuff like that. I thought it was more megapixels didn't necessarily mean better quality.
It doesn't.
It
doesn't mean. Look
right?
at what we have with the Pixel, 12 megapixels, and it's still like the best camera on any phone right now.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? It's not the megapixels. It's the It's the sensor. Is that like?
It's how you use them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's true.
It's not bad because I know this is kind of a family show, even though we do it at night. But anyway,
not the megapixels. It's how you use them. But seriously, isn't it the like what is it innately inside the phone camera that makes a good camera? Is it the? Is it? I mean, it's not packing on more megapixels doesn't actually make it better. It's
the size of the pixel, size of the sensor. It's how much light it can take in. It's the lens itself, and we're working with these phones that have multiple cameras. So I imagine the 200 megapixel camera could be just a marketing point. That maybe that's not actually the main camera that they're going to put on there. It's just look how much you can zoom in or something with this.
And as we've learned and seen, and everyone in the chat room screaming, and Burke is screaming at us in our private chat, it's also the software. Okay. It's also the software, and it's
yes. I know
what Google's able to do with their post processing, and all that, all the stuff in there with once you capture the image via those megapixels. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm not even an amateur photographer in any way. I'm like below amateur. I just take pictures of my kids with it that look good. But so that's why, Flo, I lean on you for this like professional analysis.
I know. And I apologize that I didn't mention software off the bat, but I'm tired.
Fair enough.
Sometimes it happens,
True. All right. Well, we're going to have some fun because up next, we've got some apps. Now, Flo, this next story, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is made for Flo.
It is. So one of the really big bummers of Android 12 beta right now is that if you're brave enough to run it, don't run it on your day-to-day. always caution against that. But if you're brave enough to run it, then you get access to some of the new features that are coming before everybody else does. Of course, that also means that you run into bugs and things of the sort. And one of the things that's not completely there is Material U. There's like a tiny bit of skinning that's available, but it's not to the level that we've been shown in the renders. But of course, take it to the Android community to kind of help us bridge the gap for those of us who just can't wait. Now, XDA has a recognized developer named Quinny899, which I believe is how you say the username, who's created a library that's based on K-Dragon, that's spelled dragon with a 0 as the O. Their custom Monet implementation. Now, that is all to say that this is not based on the actual Google Material U engine. It's something kind of completely different. But the idea here is the developers can integrate this Monet compat library, that's how you would put it in, into your apps to add support for dynamically theming the app's UI based on the wallpaper. This library works on devices running Android 5.0 and above using the Palette API in compatibility mode and Android 8.1 Oreo and above in normal mode. The library doesn't extract colors from live wallpapers on versions prior to Android 8.1, however, due to some limitations in the platform APIs. So that's all to say, this is very much a fan-made implementation. And so kind of approach it like that. But if it's something you want to play around with, it's available. Now, my understanding is there is an app from Quinny899 called Dark Q. That's how it's spelled, DAR with the letter Q, but it's dark. Now, it's an app that lets you toggle Android's forced dark mode settings on a per app basis. It originally used, I'm reading this, by the way, from the XDA developers article. It originally used root access to set a system property, but was updated to use an ADB shell script, which drops the root requirement. And that's what will basically let you implement this new feature. So it's just a cool developer community little tool that you can play around with if you're feeling like it. And now I want to figure out how to get this on my phone because this is cool, man.
This is why we love this community, is because you see something like a new paradigm emerges and it's only an Android 12, but they go, no, let's give it to everybody. And I always applaud these grassroots kind of efforts to bridge that gap. So I was excited to see that. I have not installed it. I don't know if I will because I'm not really sold on Material U yet. Maybe this will be the thing that will make me get on board with it. But I am going to have
a choice.
Well, the thing is that I have my Pixel 4. This is a good thing. I have the Pixel 4 that I shattered, which still works, which I told Jason I was going to install the beta on. So I just need to go find the time to sit down and do that. And then I will get to play with Material U natively in Android 12. But yeah, if you're not on the beta, if you're not going to go to Android 12, this library could be the thing for you to kind of stay up to date and see, kind of what all the kids are talking about with the Material U. So.
By the way, Dark doesn't properly work on Android 12 yet. This comes by way from Android Police.
Well, that makes sense.
And also, if you want to download it, you can go to the project's GitHub page, or you can go to APK Mirror and grab it. Yep.
Cool. All right. So a little bit of Material U. Now for a little bit of VR. I know we often talk about AR and how we're looking for the killer app for VR. Well, it looks like the killer app for VR might be is coming to Android. Flo, have you ever heard of Rec Room?
No.
Wait. Well.
Is this Facebook?
No, it's not Facebook. So
okay. Is it like the Facebook app in VR?
It's kind of like the Facebook app. I don't know. So Rec Room is actually, it's more than just like a VR based chat room for people to go in and chat like with their little Me, kind of like Nintendo Me heads and things like that. But they actually have Rec Room has a ton of content within in a VR space, like multiplayer co-op games, and you can make your own rooms and avatar accessories, and interact with your friends in VR. And the thing about it is it's completely free. Now this is really interesting because they recently announced that they're going to be coming to Android. It will feature cross-play with all of its supported platforms, which includes iOS, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, the PC via Steam, Oculus Quest, and all Steam VR compatible headsets. So it looks like Rec Room has very quietly and slowly built up this kind of network of being available on every platform and giving users a place to have this VR-based digital chat room that you can customize, make your own rooms, but go and play games with each other. And the reason why I bring it up is because apparently they have like the biggest user base in VR right now. The studio that makes Rec Room says they've seen a 500% increase in year-over-year growth in users, and they have over 1 million active monthly VR users. And then once you layer in Android users, that 1 million potential could explode. And you know, the biggest kind of comparison is that when they launched this in 2018, so 3 years ago or more, how I can't do simple math. Yeah, about 3 years ago, when they launched 3 years ago on iOS, they saw an increase of about 600% year over year from that. And what they're doing is that they're basically using this to kind of launch themselves into basically what is becoming the first VR unicorn in the investment community. They now have a $1.25 billion valuation. And they recently got a $100 million investment announced this past March. So part of this expansion and growth from this investment is Rec Room, kind of moving its eyes onto Android and all the Android users out there. And I guess Rec Room is the killer app for VR. Like, even though we haven't heard of it,
better than Microsoft's, whatever Microsoft's app is for it. It looks kind of similar, but it looks better, whatever that is.
And it's platform agnostic. It works across all these things. I know my niece got an Oculus Quest. I'm gonna go to her house this weekend and download this and check it out.
You should
just to see what it is. Yeah, but I mean, like we talk, like it's funny because like there was all this hubbub about Clubhouse and like conversational audio and all this sort of stuff. These numbers, like Clubhouse, is nothing compared to these numbers. Right. True. Like a million active monthly users in VR on a platform that requires external hardware in the shape of a headset and stuff like that. I mean, I've joked for years about VR not ever amounting to anything. It looks like it's amounting to something. So.
Let's not forget Android is the dominant mobile platform of the world. So just because, VR is the way that it is here, well, that's not to say that it would be the same everywhere else, but there's so many Android users that still have those VR capabilities. So that's why this feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah. And it also, like, on the heels of Google kind of abandoning Daydream and it's almost as if it's like, oh man, if this was around a couple of years ago, this could have saved Daydream and could have been a big kind of expansion.
Well, that's what Oculus led with. Facebook came out and said, look, you're going to be able to hang out with your Facebook friends in virtual reality. Look, I'm Mark Zuckerberg in 3D. And, it was kind of a cool concept, though, even though it was brought on by Facebook. And let's also not forget the popularity of social games back in the day. I mean, not just talking about MMOs. I'm talking about Second Life was really popular, and, all the other ways that people sort of congregated on the internet. And after the year that we just had where we were all at home just begging for human connection, I'm in.
Well, and what I think is
let's hang out, Ron.
What I think is fascinating about this, if you go to recroom.com, you can see, kind of their brochureware, they're explaining what they are and what they can do. But the way they sell themselves is pretty compelling. It says, you can party up with friends from all around the world to chat, hang out, and explore millions of player-created rooms, or build something new and amazing to share with all of us. So what you've got this community-based expansion that's happening where users are able to build their own rooms and games and experiences I mean, this is tapping into the same thing that Minecraft really tapped into, and that kind of like self-expression, kind of, creativity aspect of it. And it seems to be working. I mean, I don't know, like, it's funny because I remember moving to San Francisco in 2007, and like Second Life was all the rage, and we were gonna have meetings in Second Life and do everything like that. But like, and that we all know what came of that. But this is, I think this is fascinating. The fact that it's free and it's growing at this rate, and if this turn to Android increases that user base even more, Rec Room might be doing what Facebook and Oculus hasn't been able to. And I just think it's fascinating that I'd never even heard of them, before today.
Just one last thing I want to end on this. The size of this app is 76 megabytes.
That's fascinating.
It's a big app.
Yeah. Well, I got to imagine it's got to be big. I mean, it's got.
I just want to let people know this is there's substance here.
Wait. Megabytes or gigabytes?
Megabytes.
So if you go
That's pretty big for an Android package.
Here you go, Burke. If you look, I just added the link to the doc. So if you go to the Google Play Store and look up Rec Room, or go to recroom.com/Google, it takes you to the Google Play Store page where you can pre-register to get access. And I'm doing it right now because I want to check this out when it comes out.
Cousin of Jaws, right? It's actually not that big.
Yeah. I when you said it was 76 meg, I thought that was small. It wasn't as big as I thought it would be.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm tired.
It's okay, Flo. So if you're out there in the Android community and you are somebody that uses Rec Room or you're going to use Rec Room, write in, let us know. Email us at aa@twit.tv. We want to hear about your Rec Room experiences, because I'm officially, my curiosity is piqued by this. And Flo, I feel like this is something that like you could get lost in.
Well, I enjoy the Quest. So I would love for you to please go play with the Quest and let me know what you think. Get yourself a profile on there and play some of the games. There's some movement games with like music, and it's not all like dancey music. So maybe.
Yeah. I just literally texted my niece asking her if she's used Rec Room on her Oculus. So we'll find out what she says in real time if she texts me back. So,
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I thought that was cool. I don't know. I think it's going to be, it could potentially be a big deal. So we'll see what happens there. So, all right, up next, we've got some of your emails. All right, my favorite moment in the show. You can email us at aa@twit.tv, or you can always call and leave a voicemail at 347-SHOW-AAA. And also, you always can, like so many of you used to send in video messages. You can still do that. If you want to send us a video, we would gladly play it on the show if it's appropriate and short. Keep it under 30 seconds. But in the meantime, there's only 2 of us this week, so there's only 2 emails, but they're going to be fun ones. So this first one comes in from, I realize I didn't include his name, so I'm going to have to go log back into the email to find out what it was. But our first email comes in and says, I know Ron doesn't like earbud tips that go in his ears, so I wanted to make a recommendation. Galaxy Buds Live, the beans. They're pretty great for the person who doesn't like earbud tips. They're pretty comfortable, sound great. I'm not an audiophile though, and have some customizable features that you can choose what happens when you tap on them. I got mine on sale. They have a military student and some other discount at the time for about $65. At that price, it was a no-brainer. So he's recommending here the Samsung Galaxy Buds, which are the beans, which I have considered. But he does offer up another choice. I just bought a knockoff pair from Walmart, although they're not They're called Urban X. I'm hoping they're great, but we'll see. And he says, I'm also getting excited for the Z Fold 3. I'll write back if I end up getting it with the Nerds Review. Thanks for the show. It makes getting ready for work more fun. You guys rock. And then he wrote in, and this is why I accidentally deleted his name, and so I'll go back and find it. But he wrote in 40 minutes later after sending that email to say, funny enough, my new Galaxy Buds Live knockoffs just showed up. The knockoff pair from Urban X. He says they are very treble heavy. They're not as good or really even suitable substitutes. Oh, well, I was curious. It's worth it to spend the $65 sale price for the real Galaxy beans. So, so buyer beware. Maybe don't get those Urban X Galaxy Bud knockoffs. And I got to tell you, if I was going to get a pair of earbuds, it would be the Sennheisers we talked about earlier in the show because they're fantastic. Even though they are in ear, I would gladly give them a shot because they sound so good. Thank you to our sponsor. But Flo, have you heard of Urban X? Have you heard of this brand at all, or?
I could have sworn Jason brought a pair onto the show or some other Urban Ears brand. I don't know. But Walmart has all sorts of these like little brands that sprout up. So I missed it in my travels. I missed it in my online shopping travels.
Well, I'm logging into the All About Android email right now to thank the person who wrote in. And that was from William Steele. So thank you, William, for writing in about that and sharing your experience with the Urban X knockoffs. I love hearing about these random, there's so many random hardware manufacturers that are making these accessories and things like that. And you see like a design from Samsung, like the Beans come out, and then you see companies swarm to try to build a knockoff, right? And the fact that they're in Walmart is just hysterical. And of course, they're not going to be as good as the Samsung ones. So, but anyway, thank you, William, for writing in. You're pretty great. So.
All right. Well, that rounds us out to this week's very special email of the week, which I have to say, I really am enjoying doing this segment every single week with a lot of you folks who've been writing in. So thank you for writing in. And like Ron said, if you want to send a video message, you can do that and we'll play it. It still counts as an email. Or if you want to send a voice message, again, we really appreciate everybody who writes in every week. All right. So this very special email of the week, thank you, Burke, comes from Chris. And Chris writes in, thank you for consistently putting out an entertaining, positive show about Android. Although I also listen to other tech podcasts, it can be tiresome to hear them often being dismissive of Google and the Android platform. I wouldn't want to listen to overzealous fanboys either. So I really appreciate that All About Android strikes a good balance of sharing its enjoyment of Android and the many upsides, while also suggesting how Google and Android could improve. Apologies if this has been discussed before, but I would be interested to hear each member of the team listing all of the smartphones they have bought and used personally. My smartphone experience started with the Samsung Galaxy S2. It was the only phone I kept for the duration of its 2-year contract, as since then. I have found myself regularly trying different phones. By buying secondhand and selling previous phones, I don't find that it costs much, but I cannot bring myself to list all the phones I have owned. Throughout my journey, the Pixel 2 XL would have to be my favorite. It wasn't the perfect device, but I will always be glad I had a phone with such an incredible camera to capture the first few years of my son's life. Even with my S21 Ultra, I find myself looking back at pictures from the 2 XL and feel that I prefer the images it captured. Thanks for reading. Thanks for the great show, and all the best to the whole team. Chris, that was a really, really nice email. Thank you for that.
That's why it got the email of the week, because Chris, we appreciate. There it is. Appreciate the compliments, and we're glad you enjoy listening. But he really zeroed in on why we do the show is because we have fun and we like it. We want to be positive, right? And so, I'm glad that that's resonating. So, yeah. So that said, Flo, this is your life, smartphone edition. Can you name every phone you've ever you've used?
Well, no, I'm only going to include the phones that I use as daily drivers, not the ones that I reviewed, because those don't count.
The phone, only the phones that are your daily drivers. And this is funny because I thought this would be a fun game to play because it's been, more than 10 years of Android at this point, right? We're going on to a large chunk of our lives with these phones, and we are very lucky to have the benefit of being able to sample and use a lot of phones. But similar to Flo, as I love music. I often find myself regretting living life too fast. I wish if I can go back to my teenage self, I'd say keep a list of every band you saw live.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, have I seen them? When did I see them? And I would love to remember that I saw there's a few bands I I know the April 1995 when I saw Fugazi at Irving Plaza. Like I remember that, and I remember seeing Elastica at Tramps in 1994, and I remember seeing the Decembrists on election day in 2008, election night after Obama got voted in. Like there's this great moments, but there's like literally hundreds and thousands of bands that I don't remember seeing. And I feel that's when I think about phones, I think the same thing where like, I remember that first one, I tell you the phone I'm on now, but it's going to be really hard to remember all the ones in between. So Flo, I want you to go first. So.
Okay.
First phone, go with your first phone.
My first Android phone was an HTC Incredible from Verizon. So that was that. From there, I switched to, oh my goodness, what did I switch to from there? I think I switched to an iPhone after that, which I realize is blasphemy. So I apologize. And then after that, I switched to a Samsung Galaxy S3. Yes, I had that for a while because I had taken on the Android beat at Ars Technica, and I got that phone in. That was my phone for a long while until I started at PC World. And I think I had that phone until I got the HTC One M8. Remember that phone?
I do.
Yeah, HTC One M8. And then after that, I bought the Samsung Galaxy S7 through my carrier. I remember. And then it's just been Nexus and Pixel devices since then, except for last summer when I was using the OnePlus 8. But again, a lot of these phones came by way of review. The last phone that I paid for out of pocket that is mine is the Pixel 3. And God, I absolutely agree with Chris, who wrote in that I will look at some of the pictures because that was the phone that I had when I, birthed Mona. And so when I look at the pictures that I took in those like first months of her life, there's quite a discernible like difference between those and the ones I took of her with the OnePlus. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm
going to try to. So, of all of those phones, though, what would you consider was your favorite?
I still got to give it to the OG, the HTC Incredible.
Okay.
I had that phone for 3 years. I made a lot of content with it.
That's a long time. That's a lifetime for a phone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is really hard for me, but I'm going to do my best to try to recollect that. I probably have the order and the years off or whatever. But so my first phone was the T-Mobile, the first one, the G1.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the very first Android phone, the first one out of the gate, that was my first one. I must have gone to the Nexus after that. So the Nexus 1. I don't know if I had one in between the G1 and the Nexus 1, but I definitely had the Nexus 1. I definitely had the Nexus S. I definitely had the Galaxy Nexus with its plastically, panel that came off. I definitely had the Nexus 4. We all know I had the Nexus 5, the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
The inaugural Hall of Fame entry, the Nexus 5. I did not do the Nexus 6 or the Nexus 6P. That's where I kind of got off the Nexus.
That's true.
True. We all know I moved to the Nextbit Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I had the Robin for a while. That was a pretty good one. Then I had my dalliance with OnePlus, right? Where I'm pretty sure I had a OnePlus 5 or OnePlus 5T. I definitely had the OnePlus 6T. I definitely had the OnePlus 7T Pro with the little pop-out camera, or the 7 Pro. And then I came back from OnePlus for the Nexus 4A, I think, right? And I've been on the Nexus 4A ever since. I want to say I'm forgetting a phone in there, and I'm wondering if the longtime listeners I had a Pixel. Which one did I buy used? I think I had a Pixel 2. Yeah, you're right.
What?
Somewhere in the middle of that OnePlus, I had a Pixel 2 in there. I bought a buddy of mine sold his Pixel 2 to me. So I did have a Pixel 2 in there. I didn't have a Pixel 3. I skipped that one. I didn't have a Pixel 1. I think it was a Pixel 2. So I think that was all my phones. My daily drivers.
We should have Jason do this next week to really round it out, because I actually don't know what his first Android phone was.
Oh, I feel like it was definitely an HTC one. I don't remember the model.
That first Google phone, maybe? Or didn't Or
No, he had an HTC phone before. He had the Droid. He had a Verizon phone before anything. So it was one of the old HTC Verizon phones, or it might have been the Motorola Droid. I know I was early with the G1. That's how I got on the show, because I was like, week 1 of Android, I went to T-Mobile. I'm like, I want that. Like, that's what did it for me. What cracks me up though is that when I think about my favorite phone, right? Like, of course, the Nexus 5 in the Hall of Fame. That's probably the best phone I've ever owned. I own multiple versions of it. The phone I got asked about the most was the Nextbit Robin, because it looks so different. Like, I got a lot of people asking me like, "Oh, what phone is that? What do you have?" And that sort of thing. And I really did enjoy the OnePlus. I think the OnePlus 6T. I think I really, really, really enjoyed a lot. So, yeah, you never did OnePlus.
I just wanted to quickly shout out the Discord, because there was a lot of don't forget to mention the Nextbit Robin. So I did. Totally. Yeah, no, I know. I just want to say that
I'm glad Sean in the Discord was keeping me honest. But yeah, the Nextbit Robin was one of them. So a lot of good phones in these past 10 years. So
wow. All right. Well, listen, folks, if you want to write in, send in your videos, your voice messages, and your text messages, we love you. We would love to hear it. You can send us an email at AAA@twit.tv. That's 3 A's, AAA @twit.tv. Or you can also still leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW, AAA. That's 3 A's, AAA. Wow. Ron, I think this is it.
Yeah, we did it. Here we are.
We did.
And not the longest show we've had, but not the shortest. So there's something to hang our hat on. And we remind everybody, as we do whenever Flo and I do the show without Jason, that Jason Howell is the heartbeat of all of Android. And without him, we're just purely trying to live up to the high bar that he has set on the show. And
gallbladder and liver. We're just here for filtration. That's it.
Yep. And we hope him and his family are doing great and doing okay. And lots of love to Jason. So Flo, until next week, where can people find your vast library of work?
Well, I'm going to link you all to the handy dandy link. I still have a website, florenceion.com, but you can go to flowrights.tech, and that will take you to my author page at Gizmodo, where you can read everything I write for my day job. So thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome, Flo. All right. And in the meantime, you can go follow me on Twitter or on Instagram at RonXO. And you can go check out in the Google Play Store, look up Scorbit. That's SCORBIT. It is a Android app that I have co-developed with a bunch of talented folks. It also exists on iOS if you have an iOS phone to track your pinball scores. We are so close to releasing the next version of the app, and it's a monster. In fact, tonight I got to work late tonight working on the release notes. We have a little internal beta group that uses the app, and we're getting feedback and quashing bugs.
Dog fooding.
We're hoping to launch it before the 4th of July weekend. So if it is out next week, I'll do a deep dive and show everybody what changed. And we did some really cool stuff. So I'm really excited about it. So thank you to everybody who's downloaded it and rated it and all that fun stuff. And making apps is hard. It's really hard. So cool. And as always, huge thanks to Mr. Victor and Mr. Burke, who keep everything running behind the scenes. We appreciate it. You guys are the best.
You guys are the best. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention Club TWiT, which is why we were referring to the Discord chat. Of course, we also still have our IRC chat as well. But Club TWiT, that's our ad-free subscription tier. You get all the TWiT shows with no ads, and also an exclusive TWiT Plus podcast feed that's all yours with tons of extra content, as well as access to the members-only Discord feed. It's $7 a month. And remember, sometimes when we can, we like to go in there and talk after the show, have a little hangout session. So it might be something that you want to check out. You can go to twit.tv/clubtwit to check that out. Also, if you want to support us with merchandise, word around now that people are going out and about, you can go to twit.tv/store. We have all about Android merchandise that you can buy in there, wear shirts. Also, don't forget, we have an Amazon Flash briefing that you can get every day your Echo device. You can go to Amazon.com and check that out as a skill. And you can also follow us on social media channels at TWiT, twit.tv on Instagram. And that's it. That's it for us. This show publishes every week on Tuesday. You can find it in your podcast feeds Tuesday evening, wherever you are. Subscribe at twit.tv/AAA. You can also, as I said, leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW, AAA, and send us an email, aaa@twit.tv. We will see you next week on All About Android. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Have a great week.
So long.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ant Pruitt, and I want to tell you about my show, Hands-On Photography, here on TWiT TV. Each and every week, Thursday that is, I like to sit down and share with you the best tips and tricks that are going to help make you a better photographer. And it's not always about Photoshop. It's not always about just having the biggest and baddest and bestest camera. It can be the simplest of things, like leave your eye open when you're looking through the viewfinder. All of these simple tips can really help step your photography game up. So subscribe to the show today. That's twit.tv/hop. And I look forward to talking to you soon.